A 90-pound brown Doberman was returned 3 times. Every family said the same 3 words: too intense, too anxious, too much. He sat in Kennel 9 for 478 days, while 41 people walked past his cage without slowing down. Then, a 24-year-old woman signed one piece of paper, and what a $40 camera caught inside her apartment every single time she left for work would prove that all 41 of those people had been wrong about him from the very first day. Hannah Reyes was 24 years old and had been living in Austin, Texas for exactly 4 months. She had moved 1,100 miles from a town she didn't like to talk about anymore into a one-bedroom apartment with white walls she never bothered to decorate. She worked 12-hour shifts as an emergency room technician at a hospital downtown, came home a little after 8 p.m., ate standing over the kitchen sink, and fell asleep to the sound of the upstairs neighbor's footsteps because the silence in her own apartment was somehow louder than any noise the city could make. She wasn't looking for a dog. She told herself she was only dropping off a box of donated towels at Brightwater Animal Rescue on a Saturday morning in October. But the moment she passed the last row of kennels, she stopped. Kennel 9, a brown Doberman, his coat a soft light brown caramel across the shoulders, fading to a paler tan down the legs. 90 pounds of lean muscle sitting perfectly still with his back against the wall and his eyes locked on the door, like he was waiting for someone who was never going to come. The kennel card was short and brutal. Adopted at 10 months, returned at 12. The first family said he cried for 6 hours straight the first time they left him home alone. Adopted again at 14 months, returned at 15. The second family said he chewed through a door frame trying to follow them outside. The third family lasted 9 days, then dropped him off on a Tuesday with a note that said only 2 words: can't cope. He had been sitting in Kennel 9 for 478 days. The shelter coordinator, a woman named Paula, didn't sugarcoat it. He's not aggressive. He has never bitten a soul. His problem is the opposite of what people assume. He loves too hard. You leave, he falls apart. Most people can't live with a 90-pound dog that needs you in his eye line every second of the day. Hannah crouched down outside the kennel. The brown Doberman turned his head slowly and looked at her. Not past her, not through her, at her. And for the first time in 4 months, Hannah felt like someone in this entire city had actually seen her. "What's his name?" she asked. "We've been calling him Copper, because of the coat." Hannah didn't even stand back up. "I'll take him." Bringing home a 90-pound Doberman is not a quiet event. Copper knocked over the floor lamp in the first 10 minutes. He discovered that Hannah's second-hand couch was exactly the right length for him to stretch across completely, all 4 legs hanging off the sides, and he claimed it without negotiation. He followed her from the kitchen to the bathroom to the bedroom and back, his nails clicking on the laminate floor like a clock that refused to stop ticking. For the first time in months, Hannah laughed out loud in her own apartment. She had no idea that a cheap little camera was about to show her something that would break her heart and then, 4 months later, save her life. I see you're still here but haven't subscribed yet, and after a dog like Copper, that stings a little. Tap subscribe. You'll want to see what this camera caught. The trouble started the very first time Hannah left for a shift. She closed the front door at 7 a.m. and made it halfway down the stairwell before she heard it, a low, broken howl bleeding through the wall, the sound of a 90-pound dog who was absolutely certain he had just been abandoned for the 4th time. By day 3, a note was taped to her door from the downstairs neighbor. "Your dog cries all day, please do something about it." So Hannah did the only thing she could afford. She bought a cheap pet camera, the kind that clips onto a shelf, and pointed it at the living room so she could check on Copper from her breaks at the hospital. She expected to watch him pace. She expected to watch him cry. What she actually saw on her very first lunch break made her set her sandwich down and just stare at the screen. Every single time Hannah left, Copper did the exact same thing in the exact same order. First, he went to the front door and pressed his nose into the gap at the bottom for almost 90 seconds, breathing her in. Then he crossed to the laundry basket, pulled out the hoodie she had worn the day before, only the hoodie, never anything else, carried it to the middle of the living room and lay down on top of it. He didn't tear it, he didn't chew it, he held it between his front paws, rested his chin on it, faced the door, and waited. For 12 hours. He barely moved. The crying the neighbor complained about lasted exactly 4 minutes after she left, and then it stopped, and what replaced it was somehow much harder to watch. He wasn't being destructive, he was grieving, quietly, every single day, and then choosing to wait for her anyway. Hannah started leaving 2 hoodies out on the floor before every shift, and then something happened that she never saw coming. For the first time since she had moved to Austin, she slept through an entire night. She had fought insomnia for almost 2 years, racing thoughts at 3 a.m., the cracks in the ceiling, those upstairs footsteps. But Copper slept on the floor on her side of the bed, and the slow, heavy sound of a 90-pound dog breathing in the dark turned out to be the only thing that had ever quieted her mind. She didn't need the TV on anymore. She didn't need anything except the weight of him leaning against the bed frame and that steady rhythm, in and out, like a tide that had finally decided to stay. If you have ever had an animal pull you out of a dark place without even trying, you already know exactly what this felt like. By the second month, Copper had a routine, and Hannah had a life again. He ate breakfast only after she sat down with her coffee. Every morning, he walked her to the door and pressed his forehead against her knee for 1 long second before she left. The downstairs neighbor stopped leaving notes, and the little camera on the bookshelf, the one she had bought out of guilt, quietly became the thing she looked forward to most on her breaks. She had no idea it was about to be the only reason she got to keep the life she had just barely managed to rebuild. It happened on a Thursday in December. Hannah was working a night shift, sitting in the hospital break room at 11:47 p.m., and she opened the app the way she always did. At first, the living room looked completely normal, Copper lying on his hoodie facing the door. Then she watched his head lift. His whole body went rigid. The camera had no sound, but she didn't need it. She knew that posture by heart. Then a shadow slid across the bottom of the frame, near the sliding balcony door. A hand, then a shoulder. Someone was prying the balcony door open from the outside. Hannah's blood turned to ice. She was 9 miles away with a patient in the next room. There was nothing she could do but watch. And what she watched, she will never forget for the rest of her life. Copper did not bark first. He rose to his feet slowly, walked to the center of the room, and squared himself directly between the balcony door and the hallway. 90 pounds of brown Doberman, dead still, head lowered, every muscle locked. Then the door slid 8 inches and Copper detonated. The man's arm froze halfway through the gap, then ripped backward, and he was gone. Hannah was already on the phone with 911, hands shaking. Austin police arrived in 7 minutes. They found pry marks on the balcony door and a screwdriver dropped below. 2 other ground floor apartments in the complex had been broken into that same week, both while the residents were at work, both with no dog inside. The officer watched the footage, then looked at Copper sitting calmly by the door like nothing had happened. "Ma'am, that dog is the reason you still have everything you own." Hannah drove home at 2 a.m., sat on the floor in her scrubs, and pulled all 90 pounds of Copper into her lap. He let her. He always let her. The same brown Doberman that 3 families returned. The same dog they called too intense, too anxious, too much. The crying when she left was never weakness. The way he stood between her and every door was never aggression. The 478 days in Kennel 9 were just practice for the one thing he was built to do: love a single person so completely he would stand between her and the entire world. It was never too much. It was exactly enough. Paula, the shelter coordinator, heard the whole story 2 weeks later and posted it on Brightwater's page. Within 3 days, the rescue received 28 adoption applications, 9 of them asking specifically for a brown Doberman. 3 dogs that had waited over a year found homes that month. Today, Copper is 3 years old. Hannah still leaves 2 hoodies on the floor before every shift, and the camera still shows him there, on his hoodie, facing the door, waiting for her. Every morning before she leaves, he presses his forehead against her knee for 1 long second, like a promise. "I'll be right here. Go." I'll be right here. Some dogs don't need training to protect you. They just decide you are the one thing worth waiting for, and then they guard a life the world walked past. Hannah didn't rescue Copper. If you ask her, she'll tell you it was the other way around. So tell me, was Copper protecting Hannah all along, or did Hannah finally give him someone worth protecting? Drop your answer in the comments. And if you've ever taken in a dog the world gave up on, share their story below.